Hello, greetings from the Netherlands. I'm Lukas, master degree student here in Wageningen University in Research, and my goal is to create awareness about green economy. So what is green economy? According to this Venn diagram, green economy is an umbrella concept. The green economy is defined as an economy that results in reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. It aims for sustainable development without degrading the environment, and it is closely related with ecological economics, but it has much more applied focus. Underneath the umbrella we have bioeconomy, which relates to the conversion of biological renewable resources or waste streams into valuable products such as food, feed, bio-based products, and bioenergy. Then we have circular economy. Shortly, the core idea is to use over and over the resources without losing its properties and qualities, and to eliminate the waste streams completely. Although it's slightly far more complex system. And then we have bio-based and circular economy altogether, where we look on how to replace non-renewable fossil fuel-based products with renewable sources, while applying biological processes. As a result, bio-based should be minimalized or eventually completely eliminated. A great example of that could be bioplastics. So why this is important? I believe we all want to live in the environments which are clean and green, and it contributes to our health. President of European Commission Ursula von der Leyen emphasizes that the recovery from the current crisis will be through the European Green Deal strategy, which emphasizes to tackle carbon emissions and to become independent from imported materials by investing in environmentally friendly solutions. Okay, right, so how do we deal with it? So one possible area of improvements is food packaging. Remember the last time when you went to the supermarket and you bought a cucumber which was wrapped in a plastic, or the apples that were in a plastic bag? A little bit excessive. So finally we came to the topic of bio-based plastics or just bioplastics. However, we need to set some ground terminology here. Wait, more terminology? As there is lack of standardization among these terms, it creates a lot of confusion among the parties that are involved within this industry. So here in this graph we have a differentiation between non-biodegradable and biodegradable on x-axis, and on y-axis we have fossil-based, and on the top we have bio-based plastics. So for example, on the bottom left corner we have fossil-based and non-biodegradable plastics, which are the ones where we are wrapping these cucumbers or the apples. We are packaging the apples in. But if it's bio-based, it should be biodegradable, right? Well, not necessarily. So for example, on the top left corner we have PEF, PE, PET, and etc. plastics, which are bio-based, but they are not biodegradable. Biodegradable materials can be decomposed by microorganisms to simple natural molecules such as carbon dioxide, nitrate or ammonium, and water. Important that term biodegradable should be associated with the normal environmental conditions, medium temperature and humidity. Also, the duration of the biodegradation should not be too long, since conventional plastics also can biodegrade, but it just takes several hundreds of years. Of course, biodegradable materials are not only bio-based, they can be also from fossil fuel-based products. So finally, we can talk about the biodegradable, bio-based, and bioplastics. So bioplastics simply refers to the plastics which are made out of the plants. For example, corn, cassava, sugarcane, sugar beet pulp, potatoes, or any kind of other plant which has a lot of carbohydrates, right? So we are using it instead of petroleum-based products. So the biomass could be converted into the sugar platforms, which eventually can be used for bioplastic production. The most well-known bioplastic is PLA, or polylactic acid, and most of the factories are being opened in Thailand or somewhere in Asia, where the most demand for plastic packaging is appearing actually. A little bit more about current state of art of sugar platforms you could find in my previous video. Enjoy! Lately, for one of the courses, we decided to analyze what influences management decisions to adopt bioplastics in food packaging industry. I would like to invite my teammate Baron, who will share the main findings of our report.
Well, firstly, we scanned the available literature around bioplastics because we're interested in it. And most of the literature is about bioplastics from the supplier side. So how do they implement bioplastics? And not from the user side, which we thought was more interesting, because if there's a bioplastics and it's not implemented in the food packaging industry, then it's not used. So that's where we wanted to look at. We spotted this knowledge gap between supplier and demander side, and we executed several interviews to see whether the gaps could be filled. Among one of the interviews was a global packaging director from a very big food manufacturing concern in the Netherlands. So I think we have quite some nice respondents that actually gave us answers that would be feasible to implement in future research. Briefly, the main findings were that the level of standardization was rather low, and standardization is that everything throughout the supply chain or within a sector is treated the same way. So a bioplastic has to be very specified of what is bioplastic, how do you recycle it? Recycling was a big part of this. Where does it come from? Where does it go? How do you collect it? Stuff like this. This level of standardization was rather low, making it harder for people to implement it into their food packaging. Furthermore, we saw that the suppliers stated that there was an existing infrastructure for bioplastics. Well, there is, but it's just not a drop-in anymore, because it's very hard to just change your regular plastic into bioplastics right now. Only like 3-4 out of 10 machines could instantly use a new bioplastic. So the different materials needed different types of production, which needs different kinds of machinery. So it all needs investments and stuff, which is very costly and not just a drop-in anymore. And the last part was about a collaboration between the bioplastics manufacturer and the food packaging company, because if they work together real closely, it's very easy to come to a product that both people like. So if a bioplastic producer thinks, okay, here I have this new bioplastic with some new functionalities, which functionalities do you like to see as a bioplastic, as a food packaging company? So if you want to implement this, what should we put into there? And we saw from the bioplastic food packaging companies that it wasn't really that this collaboration was not really happening, and that made the products that the suppliers gave them not really feasible for implementation. So there were products that were cool, they had cool functionalities, but they didn't match with what the food packaging companies really wanted, and we called this the functionality mismatch. There were some new findings. There was you have first, second, and third generation biomass, and first generation biomass is mostly used for food, so you have to use second and third generation biomass. But the valorization of sugars from this biomass is rather hard. It's very time consuming, but it's also very energy consuming, which makes it not really a sustainable choice sometimes. As stated, the bioplastic infrastructure is just not there yet, at least for the interviewees we interviewed. So bioplastics are not just a drop-in. What was stated by literature, which we find very disturbing, that there's a big gap between those two. And there's a high-end versus low-end cost margin argument, where high-end companies, well, not per se high-end companies, high-end products, like niche market products, the majority of the products, it's just the margins are very low for the food packaging companies or food companies. So they are not able to implement bioplastics on these products because the margins are just too low. And I think that's basically it for our research. Standardization, the existing infrastructure, and the lead user treatment / collaboration. I think those were the 3 points that we really found that were lacking in knowledge. and there was a big gap between the supplier side and the user side.
Thank you, Baron, for sharing these insights.
No problem.
So indeed, this is a hot topic in food packaging industry. And when referring to the functionality mismatch, as one of as food packaging has to take care of the oxygen and moisture to prevent food from getting rotten, right? Food safety issues. On the other hand, biodegradability happens once the package is affected by oxygen and moisture. So it's a little bit contradictory, right? Mm-hmm. And as one of the respondents said, that this is the holy grail in food packaging industry. So maybe it's a good topic to look for further research. And also he expressed that there is no purpose to implement bioplastics if it is, emitting much more carbon dioxide gases, or it's contaminating soils, or creates additional problems in value circles. So by solving one problem, you don't want to create additional few more. Yeah, that would be it, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's what we did and what we found out. It was a very interesting period to just find out what works, what didn't work. And well, it needs a lot more research, but I think we made a great start.
Thank you, Baron, for sharing these insights, and thank you for the background music for this video. So let's be a little bit critical and let's think, do we actually need packaging at all? One of the companies which they're applying natural branding, and they're using the laser to brand their fruits and vegetables. So in the learning process, reflection helps to remember. Please answer these questions. What are the bio-based plastics are made of? Look around yourself and count how many products could be substituted to plastics from renewable sources. What are the problems with biodegradable products in food packaging industry? Is it worth to implement new bioplastic which emits more CO2 than conventional packaging? Are bioplastics necessarily biodegradable? Thank you for watching this episode and stay healthy. By the way, if you are curious, you can check out the sources or extra material which is in the comments or in the description. Bye bye.